When it comes down to running comms on your kit, there are a ton of different ways to do it. And even within those tons of different ways, there's a ton of different options for each of those different ways that you can run comms on your kits. Now, obviously, if you're watching this product video, you're probably aware that we have released a number of different options for running comms on your kit. So just like everything else we do, we try to curate some of the options down to make the purchasing decision for our customers a little bit easier. So these options are the most common ways and also the most common plugs for running civilian radios on your kit. So this product video is going to be a little bit different comparatively to other ones because we're actually going to cover 5 different products in one video just to kind of show out the entire suite of comm accessories that we have. So first and foremost, we'll just get through the simplest product. We have an additional downlead for your OTTO noise barrier attack headset. So your OTTO noise barrier attack headset will come with one of these. If you're looking to run dual comms, you're going to need an additional cable. And just like you plug in the cable that comes with your headset, this guy plugs in the same way, just on the other side. So we get the simplest product out of the way, nice and easy. Now the rest of these are going to be the actual devices that interface with your radio. So all of these are going to be Kenwood 2-pin or they're going to be OTTO noise barrier specific cable. So getting into, again, the next most simple product is going to be the Nexus U94 push-to-talk. So if you have been looking at setting up comms in your kit, you probably have seen a push-to-talk that looks like this. This is the most common push-to-talk across the industry and in the military. It's just cheap, it's very small. You can take the little clip off if you want, but just the simplicity, the durability, and the price of these have made it very, very attractive. Because one thing we don't like when we set up comms in our kit is a very large push-to-talk. It just kind of gets in the way. You already have to deal with a cable that you have to manage. So having this guy nice and small and durable is just advantageous for a number of reasons. So this is a Kenwood 2-pin plugin, just like the cop mic that we're going to talk about here in a second. So the most common plugin for civilian radios is going to be Kenwood 2 plug. And if your radio is not Kenwood 2 plug, that's okay. There's always an adapter for whatever radio it is going to a Kenwood 2-pin. So just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes down to setting this up on a kit, let me show you guys how you can set one of these up on one of our plate carriers. So this has been my favorite way to set one of these up on our plate carrier. So here we have an AC 1.5. This is kind of set up for a belt fed, but on the MOLLE spacing that we have that's running vertical on our plate carriers, this is a great place where you can mount this push-to-talk. As you can see, it's very slim, low profile, and all we did to make it be able to interface here well is you just take off the buckle that's on the back. So in order to do that, it's just 4 flathead screws. You just unscrew them. This will come off. You don't need to keep the screws for the push-to-talk. You just screw them back in to that little clip, save it for later. And then you just use a sling keeper or something similar, interface it through there, and you're good to go. So one way to secure this push-to-talk to your kit, like we've been talking about with the MOLLE spacing and a sling keeper or something similar, you're just going to get your sling keeper or the similar thing through the MOLLE here, and then you're going to put your push-to-talk. You're going to secure the push-to-talk just like this. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just very simple. Just going to kind of tie it around tie it around itself, and then you're good to go. So, and you can do it the other way if you want your push-to-talk to orientate that way, or you can do it just like this to have it orientated inward. So this is the way I found to be the most secure, the cleanest and simplest way to secure the push-to-talk to a plate carrier. Now, if your plate carrier does not have something like this, where we have, this MOLLE spacing here, say maybe you have an MBAV or an AC0 that's nice and slick up front, you can use something like these tabs that are on the placard here. So in order to do that, you're just going to basically do it the opposite direction. So instead of securing the push-to-talk this way, we're going to secure it long ways. We're going to put our sling keeper on the push-to-talk, and then we're going to put our sling keeper through whatever we're trying to secure it to. So in the case of this MOLLE placard, just through there, put this over top, and then you can do this. There you have it. Now, in the case of this setup, it's not the greatest. This is going to work better if your cummerbund is going over top of the push-to-talk, so it's not going to put any stress on the cable. Or you can just have this run a weird way like this. And you'll be good to go. But this is really only gonna work in a setup like this if you're not taking this cummerbund off, because obviously the cummerbund is kind of going over that cable there. So that's all you got going on there. So two ways to get that guy to secure to a plate carrier. So moving on to the cop mic, we have the packaging right here. So it's just a box, and inside the box is going to be just your speaker mic there. So nothing crazy going on there. So what we got going on here is obviously a speaker mic. So this solution here is a little bit simpler, a little bit more flexible in regards to the fact that I don't need to have a boom mic or a comm-capable headset to be able to run communications with this guy. So yes, this is a little bit bulky for putting on a plate carrier, but I will say on both of my deployments as a MARSOC communicator, this is chiefly how I ran communications. I would have two of these actually. Actually, I would have two radios with a cop mic on both sides of my chest. And the reason why I wanted to do that, because sometimes I'm not wearing a helmet and I don't want to have to be tied to headphones. So I can just turn the volume all the way down, or I can use something like an earpiece, which we'll show in a second. But if I am wearing headphones, so let's just say you have range SAs. So this is a non-comm capable headset. I can get this cable, which again, we'll talk about here in a second. Say you don't have range SAs, maybe you have sword ends or something like that. You just get your aux cord cable, plug it into the cop mic, plug it into your radio, and now you have your communications, your listening going into your headphones. So the way this would work, so if I'm running this like this, I have my cop mic set up. Everything that's being transmitted over the net, I hear in my headphones. It's not going outside of the mic, but obviously since I don't have a boom mic, I still just need to talk into this. So I'd use this as a standard push-to-talk and just look towards it, and I'll be good to go. So generally speaking, not only is this a little bit more flexible, this is also cheaper because I don't need to have a communications cable headset to be able to operate communications on my kit. So now additionally with this piece of equipment, it's very simple. On one side, you're going to have your volume adjustment. It's just high or low mode. So that's really all you get for your volume adjustment. That's going to also adjust the volume in your headset. If you have it turned down low or turned down high, it will change how you hear it in the headset. The other side, you're going to have your push-to-talk. So you just push down, hold it down while you transmit. And then on the bottom of the speaker mic is a 3.5 millimeter aux jack. So if you have sword ends or another headset that just requires an aux cord of some kind, just make sure you get a 3.5 millimeter that goes down to this guy. So that's really it for this. When it comes down to attaching it to your kit, you just got to get creative with whatever kind of kit you have. So if you have MOLLE or something going on your chest, obviously that's going to make things easier, but really what you have to work with is this clip here. So you can get this clip off. It's a little difficult, but it also spins and rotates. So if you have MOLLE spacing that's vertical, you can rotate it sideways, stick it in there, then use a combination of rubber bands, sling keeper, or something like that to secure it, even tape. Generally when I was running these, I didn't have them secured in a super tight fashion because I wanted to be able to take it off if need be. But this is, like I said, the most flexible and generally most cost-effective way to run communications because you don't have to have a communications specific headset. So moving on to the next item that's basically in the same vein of this guy is the Range SA downlead cable. So all this is an aux cord that goes to the Range SA. So on the back of OTTO headphones, whether it's the Range SAs or the TAC version of the headphones, you have this little 2-port plug-in. So this is obviously kind of a proprietary aux cord for these headphones. All you do is plug it in, plug it into your cop mic, whether it's the OTTO cop mic or something similar or something different. And now, like I already said, you can hear whatever's being transmitted to you through your headphones. So if you have the TAC version of the headphones and you're running it as, pretending per se that they are Range SAs, you're running your headphones nice and slick, and you want to be able to run comms, you can use this cable in the exact same way. So just unplug the boom mic there, plug this guy in, and you're good to go. You can run this the exact same way as you would Range SAs. So moving on from there, additionally in the same vein, these two cables are really in support of something like this OTTO cop mic. Now, you don't need to have the OTTO cop mic specifically. A lot of cop mics have the 3.5 millimeter jack, but this is what we're offering. The reason why, just to go back to this real quick, the reason why we're offering this cop mic is it's extremely durable, and it's also a pretty good footprint for cop mics. If you look at a Harris or a Talus cop mic, some of those military ones, they're very, very big. This is much smaller than those. There are some smaller ones out there, but all of the ones that I have seen that are smaller than this guy are not waterproof or dust rated. This is an actual durable cop mic. So The next thing we have here is a Covert earpiece. This is going to be for when you want to do your super secret 007 ops with your friends. No, not really. This obviously does apply to that. But what this also does is allow you to hear communications covertly, as in I don't want other people around me to hear what's being transmitted to me, but I don't have to have headphones at all to do that. So same exact thing. We just have a 3.5mm jack, plug it into your cop mic. Attach this guy to your shirt somewhere. So what this little plastic clip is going to do is just prevent too much tension on this guy from getting pulled out of your ear or damaging the cable itself. And then you're going to just put this guy in your ear. Generally what you would like to do is wrap this around your ear if you can. Some people's ears are too big to do that. But also one thing you need to note about this guy is it's not going to seal in your ear. So if you push it in there and you feel like it's not seated all the way, that's completely normal. It's supposed to be kind of loose fitting in there. So again, the emphasis on using this plastic clip to keep this secure is there. So when it comes out of the packaging, it's going to come in 2 different pieces. This is obviously for a number of reasons. One, just the ease of transport, but also in case one of these 2 things break. This isn't the cheapest cable out there, so you're able to just replace one end if something goes wrong. So you do have a little red dot indicator to plug this guy in. It really can only go together one way, but these little pins are very small, so just be careful with it. It just pushes into place. You'll hear a little click and you're good to go. So that's basically everything we got for this little communication suite that we're now offering. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is very specific, somewhat specific to the headsets that we're offering on the website, but these are just aux ports, so 3.5mm, anything that takes 3.5mm is going to work. So if you have a different cop mic, you're still running your range SAs, this cable is still functional. If you have any sort of cop mic, or anything that takes a 3.5mm jack, this little Covert earpiece will work with it. And then the other components are pretty specific to the plugin. So the Nexus plug, the U94, this is the most common downlead port size. So if you do have communication headphones and you have this big fat aux cord looking thing, it will go to this. There's not really another option out there. This is the most common push to talk. And then additionally, the Kenwood 2-pin, just a reminder one more time. So Kenwood 2-pin, most common plug-in for civilian radios. And if your radio isn't a Kenwood 2-pin, there's probably an adapter out there for it to make it Kenwood 2-pin. So while all this equipment is fairly specific to the stuff that we're offering on the website, these are, like I said, some of the most common plugins out there. But what this does offer you, just with these couple of items, is a ton of capability and flexibility for your communication setup. So if you have your range SAs, you get your cop mic, get your little downlead. Now you have a ton of different ways you can run comms on your kit. You can even get this in your cop mic if you have your TAC headphones, same idea. And then you just, even get this Covert earpiece and you can run comms in a number of different ways without having to buy a ton of different kits to start from. This is all intended to be very flexible. So it's not intended to be for a very specific use case. It's intended to be able to offer just a few items that can be flexed for a number of different needs per se. So if you guys have any questions regarding any of this, just shoot us an email at team@trex.arms.com and we'll be happy to help.